Namaskar, dear friends. Welcome to today's class. Today we shall discuss an interesting poem by Robert Southey. The title of the poem is The Inchcape Rock. Let us find out what this Inchcape Rock is. This Inchcape Rock is a group of rocks off the east coast of Scotland near the mouth of River Tay. Now, what is this mouth of the river? Mouth of the river is the place where the river joins the sea, where the river meets the sea. You know, if you have a group of rocks there where the ships move about, and when there are high tides, these rocks should not be visible. And when there are low tides, only a few inches of these rocks will be visible. So these are perilous rocks. Perilous means very dangerous. Many shipwrecks have taken place there. If the pilot of this ship doesn't know that there are rocks, then obviously the ship will dash against these rocks and it will drown. Part of the ship will be destroyed. There are dangers to the lives of the passengers. Let us find out what the poet talks about this Inchcape Rock. No star in the air, no star in the sea, the ship was still as she could be. Now, who is she? She here refers to the ship. It was very calm and quiet. A gentle breeze was blowing. There were no dangers, visible dangers. No star in the air. No storm, no stormy wind, nothing. Gentle breeze must be blowing at that time. No star in the sea. Stirring is movement. Stir is movement. There was no movement in the sea. Sea was calm and quiet. The ship was still, calm and quiet, moving gently, sailing gently, without any problem. So it was as still could be, as sea could be. Very still, calm and quiet, no disturbances in the atmosphere, no, stormy air, no waves, no dangerous waves. Now, in the sea there will be waves, but at times these waves become very dangerous. But that day, there were no visible dangers. କିଛି problem ନାହିଁ. Ship ତାର ଠିକ ଠାକ ଚାଲିଛି. No problems are there. Her sails from heaven received no motion. Sails, especially those ships which don't have any engines. Those ships were there in the past. Sails were there. A huge piece of cloth. Having a huge piece of cloth that was called sail, and wind would dash against this piece of cloth, and it would push the ship from behind. That is sail. The sails from heaven received no motion. No heavy breeze was blowing at that time. And now if something pushes you from behind, what happens when the ship is being pushed? It is a wind driven ship. So when the wind is pushing you from behind, your lower part of the ship and the front part of the ship, you must have seen, they are a little down into the ocean, into the water. Something is pushing you from behind, but nothing was pushing the ship, and there were absolutely no dangers. It was calm and quiet. It was still, the ocean was still, the ship was moving gently, sailing gently, no problem was there. The keel was steady in the ocean. Keel is the lower part of the ship. Keel is the base of the ship, the bottom of the ship. Now, if there are no storms, the ship moves gently. The ship sails gently. So, in the first stanza itself, what the poet is hinting at? The poet is hinting that there were absolutely no dangers, no problems, no heavy breeze was blowing at that time. There was only a gentle wind. There were no threatening waves. Obviously, if you sail in the sea, there would be waves. But waves and threatening waves, these are different. Threatening waves pose a danger to the ship. Because there were no threatening waves, the ship was moving gently. There was a calmness, peacefulness, quietness everywhere. Now, without either sign or sound of their shock, the waves flowed over the Inchcape rock. So, these, these rocks, they are perilous rocks. When there are high tides, if there are high waves, big waves in the sea, these rocks hide under the water. And when they hide under water, they become a problem. They become a danger for the ships. That day, because there were no high waves in the sea, you know, only a few inches, 2, 3 inches were visible. So without either sign or sound of their shock, saw, alliterative use of saw, the waves flowed over the Inchcape rock. So very small. No, if it is a sea, there must be waves. There must be small waves. These small waves were flowing over the Inchcape rock. So little they rose, very small waves. So they rose a little and they fell a little. So little they rose and so little they fell. Who fell? Who are they? These waves. So little they rose and so little they fell. They didn't move the Inchcape bell. There was a bell. And when there are high waves, the water dashes against the bell. So the bell moves. Once the bell moves, you can hear the sound of the bell from a distance. Now, if you hear the sound of a distance, hear the bell, sound of the bell from a distance, the sailors become careful. They come to know there are the Inchcape bells. So they become cautious, careful. But that day, since everything was calm and quiet, this Inchcape bell was not producing any sound. Right? Who had put this bell there? The abbot of Aberbrothock had placed that bell on the Inchcape rock. On a buoy that in the storm it floated and swung, and over the waves its warning rung. So this bell had been put on a buoy, B-U-O-Y. B-U-O-Y is a floating object on the sea to mark a dangerous place. So this is a floating object. On that floating object there was the bell. This bell was fixed to that floating object and it was kept very close to the Inchcape rock. So if there were high waves, the water would move the buoy on which the bell was placed the bell will be wrong. ତେଣୁ ଯେମିତି ଆମର ତମେ ଦେଖିଥିବ ଚର୍ଚ୍ଚର ଗୋଟେ ଜାଗାରେ ଫ୍ରଣ୍ଟରେ ଉପର ପଟେ ଦେଖିଥିବ ତମ ଗୋଟେ ବେଲ୍ଟ ଥାଏ, ତୁମେ ଯିବ ବେଲ୍ଟକୁ ବଜେଇବ. This bell is wrong at times. There are occasions when this bell is wrong. Similarly ପାଣି ଭିତରେ ତ ଆଉ ସେଠି କେହି ଯାଇକି ସଦାବେଳେ ଜଣେ ବଜେଇ ପାରିବନି, ତ ସେଠି ଗୋଟେ ଅବଜେକ୍ଟ ରଖି ଦିଆହେଇଛି, ଗୋଟେ ବୟ ବୋଲି ତାକୁ କହୁଛନ୍ତି, ଆଣ୍ଡ ତା ଉପରେ ରଖି ଦିଆହେଇଛି ବେଲ୍ଟଟାକୁ. So ଯଦି if this boy is disturbed, BUOY, this one is disturbed, ତାହେଲେ ବେଲ୍ଟଟା ଉପରେ ଲାଗିଛି, ସେଟା it will move from side to side and it will produce a sound. So this abbot of Aberbrothock. Aberbrothock is a place, and abbot is the head of the monk in Scotland. He was the head of the monks. So he must be a very nice person. He knew there is a danger lying hidden in the sea. Many shipwrecks have taken place here. Many ships have been destroyed here. Many people have died. So let me put a bell here as a warning, which will warn the sailors. So he had put that bell on the Inchcape rock. He had put it on a buoy. So when there was a storm, it floated and swung. Swing is to move from side to side. And over the waves, it's warning wrong. Wrong is the past form of ring, past participle form of ring, rang, wrong. So the sailors could hear from a distance the sound of the bell, and they realized that there was some danger. When the rock was hit by the surge's swell, the mariners heard the warning bell, and then they knew the perilous rock and blessed the abbot of Aberbrothock. Surge's swell means the rise of waves, tidal waves, when there are huge waves on the surface of the sea. So when this rock was hidden by the water, by huge waves, the bell would be ringing. So the mariners, those who managed the ship, they heard the sound from a distance. So as they heard the sound, they became cautious, they became careful. They knew the danger was here. Here the rocks lay, here the rocks lie. So they became very careful. And they saved the ship, they saved the passengers, they saved other mariners, and they blessed the abbot of Aberbrothock. They said, "Oh, thank you very much, Mr. Priest. It's because of you that we are safe today." So they thanked the abbot of Aberbrothock. So what kind of a person he must be? He must be a kind person. He must be gentle. He must be a type of person who works for the benefit of others. So Christian priests are like that. Very kind, generous, good at heart. The sun in heaven was shining gay. That day, the sun was shining very happily. The sun was shining in the sky very happily. The poet has already told you in the very opening stanza that there were absolutely no problems, no disturbances in the sea that day. All things were joyful on that day. Everything was happy, gay. So there was happiness, stillness, calmness, quietness. So ship was moving smoothly, ship was sailing smoothly, everybody was quite happy. The seabirds screamed. Seabirds are there in the sea. They were screaming, they were shouting, they were moving around the ship, they were flying around the ship, and they were screaming joyously, very happily. They were shouting very happily. They wheeled around. You must have seen the wheel. Wheel is, your bicycle has two wheels. There is a fixed point, the wheel moves around that point. So wheeled is a verb. Wheel is actually a noun. Your cycle has two wheels, but here wheeled around is, it's a verb. They moved around in a circular manner. So these birds moved around in a circular manner. They moved around the ship and they were screaming joyously. They were also very happy. And there was joyance, very, happiness, excitement, joy in their sound. So they were also very happy. There was possibility of getting some food from the mariners. So ସେମାନେ ବି ଖୁସିରେ ବୁଲୁଥିଲେ ସମସ୍ତେ. It was a calm quiet atmosphere ଯେତେବେଳେ ଥାଏ ଆମେ ଏତେ ଟେନସନ ନଥାଉ. ଗୋଟେ storm ଆସୁଛି ବୋଲି ଯଦି ଆମକୁ କୁହାଯିବ ତାହେଲେ we become quite tense. ଗୋଟେ flood ଆସୁଛି ବୋଲି କୁହାଯିବ ତ we become quite tense. There is some problem going to happen. କରୋନା ବଢି ଯାଉଛି ଯେତେବେଳେ ଆମେ ଶୁଣୁଛେ we become tense. So problem କିଛି ନାହିଁ. The government announces that there is no problem. तो ଆମେ ଖୁସି ହେଇଯାଉ ଆରାମ ସେ ବଢିଆ problem ତ ନାହିଁ ବୋଲି announce କରାଗଲା ଆଉ କଣ ଅଛି. So everybody was quite happy. The boy of the Inchcape bell was seen a darker speck on the ocean green. So from a distance, these rocks were not very high rocks. They were a few inches over the water. Few inches. So if there were high tides, they were drowned completely. They were not visible. They were not seen at all. Only when small waves were there, only 2-3 inches of them would be visible. So this boy was placed very close to the Inchcape rock. So from a distance, it looked like a speck. Speck is a dot. Dot. On an entire page of paper, you put a dot and you look at it. It will be difficult to find. So it was just looking like a speck on the ocean green, on the vast green ocean. It was looking like a speck. Sir Ralph the rover walked his deck and he fixed his eye on the darker speck. Sir Ralph the rover was a sailor, right? So he was walking on the deck of the ship. Deck is where you can move, that space of the ship where you can move about. So you spend some, if it is winter, you sit on the deck, you spend some time in the winter sun, right? So he was taking a walk and he could see something there. What is it? What is it that looks like a speck, a dot? What is it out there? It looks like a dot. So he fixed his eyes on that. What is it? He felt the cheering power of spring. It made him whistle. It made him sing. Right? He felt the cheering power of spring. It was springtime. And springtime is the time of cheerfulness, joy. Spring brings a kind of joy to you. So he was feeling very excited. He was a mariner. Are problem to nathila na. So the sailors were very happy. So being the head of the sailors, he was also very happy. It made him whistle. He was whistling in the wind. He was whistling and he was singing because this ship was sailing smoothly. His heart was mirthfully joyous. How was he feeling? He was feeling joyous, mirthful to the excess. Very joyful, greatly joyful, excessively joyful. He was feeling very happy. But the rover's mirth was wickedness. ରାସ୍ତାରେ ଗୋଟେ ଖାଲ ହେଇଛି. କିଛି ଲୋକ ସେପଟେ ଗଲାବେଳେ ଅଲରେଡି ପଡ଼ିଲେଣି. କିଛି ଲୋକ ଅଛନ୍ତି, they would feel bad, they will be concerned. ସେମାନେ ସେ ଖାଲରେ ନେଇକି କିଛି ଗୋଡ଼ି ଭର୍ତ୍ତି କରିଦେବେ, କିଛି ସିମେଣ୍ଟ ଭର୍ତ୍ତି କରିଦେଇକି ତାକୁ ସମାନ କରିଦେବେ. But there are some other people ପଡ଼ିବେ ଏବେ ସ୍କୁଟରରୁ। How exciting it would be. 20 ଜଣ ପଡ଼ିକି ଖଣ୍ଡିଆ ହେଲେଣି। I feel joyous. I feel very happy. I feel very excited. କେମିତି ଭୁସଭାସ ହେଇକି ପଡ଼ି ଯାଉଛନ୍ତି। ମୁଁ ଟିକେ ଗାତଟା ଆଉ ଟିକେ ବଡ଼ କରିଦିଏ। So there are different types of people. So this man, I mean, we have already read about the abbot of Ababrathak. What kind of a person he was? He was worried. The shipwrecks are taking place at this spot. Ships are getting destroyed. People are dying in large numbers. So I must take this bell and put it there. This bell will warn the sailors so that they will be careful. But this is an opposite character. And what does he do? This rover's joy was a result of his wickedness. He felt very wicked, naughty. His eye was on the Inchcape float. He was looking at the boy from a distance. What is it? Oh, this is the Inchcape bell. It is saving people. It is saving ships from being wrecked, destroyed, from dashing into these rocks. No, I must do something. Quoth means said, he said, my men, put out the boat and row me to the Inchcape rock. I will plague the abbot of Ababrathak. Right? He tells his people, my people, come here. Hey, sailors, come here. Down the boat into the ocean, into the sea. Take me to that place. What is there? There is a boy, and on that boy there is a bell. I will teach that abbot of Ababrathak a lesson. I will cause pain to him. ଲୋକଙ୍କୁ ସେଭ୍ କରିଦଉଛି ବୋଲି ସେ ବହୁତ ଖୁସି ଅଛି ତ। I will see how he saves people. I will plague him. I will cause him immense pain, a lot of pain. So I will do something so that he will learn a lesson. He will be pained. So take me there. The boat is lowered. The boatmen row the boat, and to the Inchcape rock they go. So sailors, sailors work under the head sailor, the captain of the ship. So they do as they are directed to do, as they are asked to do. So those boatmen row him to the Inchcape rock. Sir Ralph bent over from the boat and he caught the bell from the Inchcape float. Float is something that was floating. It was the boy. And on that there was the bell. He caught the bell. And down sunk the bell with a gurgling sound. Gurgling sound, when something goes inside water, a sound is produced. That is a gurgling sound. He dropped the bell there, then and there into the ocean. He caught it and dropped it into the ocean. So the bell sunk into water. The bubbles rose. Bubbles, bubbles are small air bubbles. तुम जदि फेण कर देखिथिबो एयर बबल्स बाहरी जेतेबेले गोटे जिंस किछि तळकू डुबुची बुडी बुडी जाउची उपरकू बुड 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 हेकी गोटे बबल्स बाहरिबो and they burst around. Quoth Sir Ralph, the next who comes to the rock won't bless the abbot of Ababrathak. This abbot of Ababrathak is becoming very popular. He is becoming very popular because of this bell. Because this bell is saving people. This bell is saving the ships from destruction. He is being blessed by the people. Ebbe nobody will bless him. I have caught it. I have drowned the bell. Now he will be in great pain when he comes to know that ships are again being destroyed. So let us see how he feels a lot of pleasure. So now let us find out What happens? Sir Ralph the rover sailed away. He scoured the seas for many a day. Now he was a wicked man. He was a wicked man who looted the ships. So he moved here and there, right? So he moved around in his ship, looted other ships for a long time, for a many a day, a number of days. And now that he had looted many ships, he now grown rich with plundered store. Plundered store means things which he had looted from other ships. Now he has many things, he has looted many things from other ships. So he is a rich man now. He steers his course for Scotland's shore. So he has already spent many days in the ship. Now he goes back. He decides to go back to the Scotland shore, to the shore of Scotland. Steers his course. Course is the path. Steering is moving. He tells his men, okay, now let us go back. And this is the path that we must take. This is the path that we must take if we want to reach the shores of Scotland. We have to go there. Now we have to reach land. ଯେତିକି ତ ଲୁଟ୍ କରିବା କଥା କରିସାରିଲେଣି, ଚାଲ ଯିବା. Now we have become very rich. So thick a haze overspreads the sky, they cannot see the sun on high. So now things have changed. The atmosphere has changed because they have already spent many days. That particular day, when they decided to reach or to go to the shores of Scotland, suddenly there was a haze that overspread over the sea, over the water. Haze is what? Haze is the smoke like thing you see, especially in winter, mornings and evenings. You see a smoke like thing in the atmosphere. That is haze. So haze re kon hue? It is so thick that you can't see even a few meters ahead of you. So kichi dekha jauni. A thick haze has overspread. They cannot see the sun. Sun is not visible because sun is placed so high. The wind hath blown gale all day. Gale is a storm. Throughout the day there has been a storm. So the sea must be disturbed. There must be huge waves in the sea. At evening it hath died away. So throughout the day there was a stormy wind. So throughout the daytime they could not see anything. And now came the evening. So evening it's quite natural, it becomes very dark. So you can't see anything. So they were not able to see anything. ସେତେବେଳେ ତ କମ୍ପ୍ୟୁଟର ନଥିଲା ଯେ ଏବେ ସବୁ all ships are fitted with modern gadgets. So ହେଜି ହେଲେ ବି captains can see, the sailors can see what is there in front of you. କିନ୍ତୁ ସେଦିନ ସେମାନେ ଦେଖିପାରିଲେନି. On the deck the rover takes his stand. So dark it is, they see no land. So this rover was moving on the deck of the ship. Oh, it was very dark. They could not see anything. He was trying to see in which direction we are going. How far are we from the Scotland coast? When are we going to reach? Whether we are going in the right direction or not. କୁଆଡେ ଆମେ ଯାଉଛୁ କିଛି ତ ଜଣା ପଡୁନି. ରାତି ଅନ୍ଧାର ହେଇଗଲାଣି, ଦିନ ଯାକ ତ ଅନ୍ଧାର ହେଇକି ରହିଲା, ପୁରା ହେଜ୍ ଥିଲା. So it was so dark they see no land. Quoth Sir Ralph, quoth he said, Sir Ralph said, it will be lighter soon, for there is dawn of the rising moon. Now there will be a little bit of light. Because the moon is rising. Since the moon is going to rise, I think there is going to be a change in the weather. So there will be a little light. So he is hopeful that there is a little light. So he was saying that to his people to make them cheerful, make them happy, make them hopeful. ସମସ୍ତେ ଅଲଗା ସେଲର ମାନେ ଟିକେ ସେତେବେଳକୁ କଣ ଟିକେ ସ୍ୟାଡ ହେଇଯିବେଣି, ଦିନ ସାରା ପରିଶ୍ରମ କରି ସିପ୍ କୁଆଡେ ଯାଉନି କିଛି ନାହିଁ, ଇଟ୍ସ ଓନ୍ଲି dropping high and low on the waves. Danced here, sir, I cannot hear you because there was the wind was blowing, there was a tempestuous wind was blowing heavily. Said one, the breakers roar, for me thinks we should be near the shores. Sir, I can't hear you, the breakers roar, the sea waves are roaring. The sea waves are producing a loud noise. Sir, I can't hear you. What are you saying? The breakers are roaring. There are huge waves. The waves are producing a lot of noise. But I think we must be close to the shore. We must be close to the shore. Throughout the day, I can tell you from my experience, sir, I can tell you we must be very close to the Scotland shore. So, I kula pakhapakhi sir heijibade. Don't worry, we must be very close to the shore. Now where we are, I can't tell, but I wish I could hear the Inchcape bell. And he says, no, I can't tell you exactly where we are because I can't see things. So I can't tell you where we are. But sir, from my experience, I must tell, we must be very close to the coast of Scotland. I wish I could hear the Inchcape bell. So these perilous rock, these dangerous rocks, they were very close to the Scotland coast. Scotland coast ପାଖରେ এই rocks. ସେ କହୁଛି ସାର୍ ଯଦି ସେ ବେଲ୍ଟା ଥାନ୍ତା ସାର୍ ଟିକେ ଭଲ ହେଇଥାନ୍ତା ମ, ସେଇଟା ଶୁଣିକିରି ଆଟଲିଷ୍ଟ we would be steering clear of that place. ଆମେ କୋଉ ଡିରେକ୍ସନରେ ଯାଉଛେ କୁଆଡେ ଯାଉଛେ I don't know, but see waves ର sound, the noise that the waves are producing, ସେଇଥିରୁ ମୁଁ ଜାଣି ଦେଉଛି we are very close to the coast. They heard no sound, they hear no sound. The swell is strong, swelling is rising, there are huge waves. The swell is strong, there are huge waves, they hear no sound. Though the wind hath fallen, they drift along. They are floating away somewhere on those waves because there are huge waves. The wind has fallen. Throughout the day, stormy winds were blowing. But now there are no stormy winds. Even though the winds have died down, they are still floating, right? Unsteadily on the surface of water. Are waves hochi? Waves re semane pura unsteadily float karuchandi. When there are huge waves, naturally the ships move unsteadily. Ships sail unsteadily till the vessel strikes with a shivering shock. Oh Christ, it is the Inchcape rock. Now finally, the vessel strikes with a shivering shock. The vessel strikes some rock and there is a shiver. Shiver, vibration. When the ship strikes against the Inchcape rocks, there must be a shiver. It must have shivered. So there is a shivering shock. Shock spreads through the entire ship. The ship dashes into the Inchcape rock. And somebody shouts, oh Christ, it is the Inchcape rock. Right? Jesi karni, vesi bharni. So nije jaike mada hele se Inchcape rock. Warning bell ta thile, at least ଟିକେ warning ସେମାନଙ୍କୁ ମିଳିଥାନ୍ତା. They could have kept off the coast. They could have kept off the place where the Inchcape rocks were there. But he had caught it himself. Ralph the rover He had caught it himself. He had drowned it into the ocean. How could he ଆସିବ? Sir Ralph the Rover tore his hair. He became very my ship is gone. My people are gone. We are drowning. He cursed himself. Oh, why did I do it? Why did I do it? He is cursing himself. He is blaming himself. Why did I caught it? Such a bad thing I did. In his despair, despair is hopelessness. Because his ship is drowning. His people are, dying. And he had already looted a number of things. He had become very rich. The waves rush in on every side. The ship is sinking beneath the tide. So there are huge waves, I have already told you, and these waves drown the ship. The ship drowns. But even in his dying fear, one dreadful sound could the rover hear. So as he was drowning, as he was going down and down into the water, he thought he was able to hear a dreadful sound, a fearful sound, a sound as if with the Inchcape bell. ସତେ କିଏ Inchcape bell ବଜଉଛି କି? A sound that looked like, that heard like, that hears like the sound of the Inchcape bell. The devil below was ringing his knell. Knell is the knell is Knell is the sound of a bell which is wrong when somebody dies. So, as if the devil was ringing a bell. Babu, you are gone. You had caught that bell. You wanted to make the abbot of Ababrathak suffer a lot of pain. But look, you are suffering pain. Right? As you sow, so shall you reap. As you sow, so shall you reap. जैसी करनी बेसी भरनी. ଯେମିତି ବୁଣିବ ସେମିତି ପାଇବ. Now, evil ends in death. Evil ends in torture, problem, difficulties. ତୁମେ ଭଲ କାମ କରିଥିଲେ ଲୋକ they were blessing the abbot of Ababrathak. You did something bad, you did something evil, and look how you suffer. You die in the end. So this is where the poem ends. Thank you very much. I hope this helps your understanding of the poem. Thank you.